So Florida Republicans, get this, have made a bill to try and get Trump back on Twitter. That's the premise of it. So this bill, essentially what it does is two things. Number one, it basically, this bill is to ban social media companies from banning politicians. Notice how I didn't say people. I said politicians. Because I'm right. It's pretty much where people... So this law basically says you cannot ban any politician on your platforms and for social media. And if you do, they're going to fine you $250,000 a day for every state elected state official, politician, and then $25,000 a day for every other official, right? So county official, whatever, in Florida. Okay, so and now opponents of this bill are saying, well, hold on. The other part is, so basically they're saying you can't ban them, but you can suspend them for 2 weeks. Let's say so if you violate the terms of service, you ban, they violate the terms of service, they violate your policies, whatever, procedures, whatever you got. Okay, fine, you can suspend them for 2 weeks, but you can't ban them, can't perma-ban them. Now, opponents are saying, hey, this is unconstitutional, severely unconstitutional, extremely, and it's only to get President Trump back on Twitter. Yes, that's actually the case. That's the only reason why they're doing it, because they're so hung up on Trump. Woo-wee. Must give good head. Ooh. Wow, what a reference. He must give them goodies. Because Trump's out of office. Like, done. But they're still loyal. Because the GOP doesn't have its own mind. They go by what their supreme leader thinks. Like, that's why they have this war on facts. John Meacham talks about it. But, so who's the author, media person, whatever. So, the first thing is, they're saying, we want to protect free speech and the Constitution, all of that. And that's why they're doing it. It's because they want to protect free speech. And you could say, wow, that's great. But here's where they're hypocritical. And this is where it's ironic and it makes them hypocritical. Ron DeSantis, like a couple of weeks ago, just signed a bill that would make it illegal for you to pretty much, so that they would ban free protests. And basically, it makes it so that, like, if you're at a protest and somebody throws a rock or a bottle or a glass bottle of something or a frozen soda can, a can of frozen soda to a cop or to you, just a window, you can be arrested because you're a part of an unruly crowd, even if you didn't do it. So, okay, there you go. Now, they're doing this disregarding that. So, he signed that bill. They're banning free protests and free speech and assembly. Those are three of that's one of the parts of the First Amendment. I love how the right talks about, the Second Amendment right. We have the right to bear arms. Woo-hoo! Oh, but marijuana's illegal. Oh, and free speech? Fuck that. That's what's going on, is that they ban free speech and free protests in Florida. So you can't protest anymore. And by the way, if you do get arrested, it could be a couple days, 2-3 days, even more, because you got to be in prison until you can see a judge. So if you get arrested on a certain day, like on a Saturday, you're stuck there at least till Monday morning. Maybe even Tuesday or Wednesday. God knows how long. And if you're a person of color, you better be careful. And that's a lot of them, especially the Cubans in Florida. So, but they keep voting Republican. This is what happens. So, that's pretty ironic that he's doing that. And you know what? Ron DeSantis kind of admitted it. And by the way, this bill that we're talking about here is headed towards DeSantis. Now, here's the other thing that's ironic. So they're also doing this, again, to protect free speech, but they're saying, we want to protect against censorship. because the right thinks that they're the only ones being targeted by censorship, that these social media companies and platforms are only coming after them. But pretty much that's a lie. That's not factually true or right. It's factually wrong, in fact. They're coming after the left just as much as they're coming after the right. But I don't see them ever saying anything, because when someone they disagree with gets blocked, I don't know. Too bad. Too bad for them, huh? Maybe they should have been racist. maybe then it wouldn't happen. Anyway, but when that is actually true. That's why they do it, because the right wing is all racist. So is the left. Some of it. The centrists. Anyway, okay. So they think they only come after them, but they're actually coming after us. Like, for example, they did an ad apocalypse, and that's going to come up on my channel, against all YouTube hosts. Everybody. They lost advertisements, and even before I came on, all those people lost a lot of money. They went from like hundreds of thousands of dollars to zero, and then they would unsubscribe people, and then they cancel you. Chappelle Trap House got banned. I didn't hear anyone saying anything about that. Nothing. But when President Trump got banned, I said, hey, whoa, what the hell? I'm against censorship. What the hell's going on here? But they don't care about that. They're just trying to craft it for the right. And more importantly, the last thing I'll say is, they're only trying to do this for politicians. So let the peasants struggle. They don't deserve free speech. Even though the majority of our state's Republican, they don't deserve free speech, but us, the politicians, do. So they're crafting free speech for the political class. So that's where the bill goes south for me. Not only because of the hypocrisy, but I would make it so we regulate the social media companies and make them public utilities, and then we make it that way, and so you can't ban people, and you can't have fact checks and all that shit. Now, okay, fine, you can have a fact check of, hey, this might be wrong, check these sources, but we're not gonna ban your tweets or your Facebook posts. I called myself a blind bitch, and Facebook's like, oh my god, this could be considered bullying. Oh my god. Wow. I used the term redneck white people once, and Facebook's like, we can't post your comment because redneck white people, you're talking about racist crap and shit. Like, okay, wow. So that's what I would do, is I would make it so that you can't ban anyone, and if you want to go into the depths of, okay, what if they do violence, whatever, okay, fine. But yeah, no, this bill does not go far enough to everybody. But they don't care about you. That's the Republican Party, just like the Democratic Party. They don't care about you. They only care about themselves. And they want themselves to be on Twitter. And if you get banned, it's okay. And the last thing I'll say. I know I said last thing like a minute ago. A couple minutes. This is business regulation. Kyle Kalinske didn't talk about this on Secular Talk. Business regulation. These guys are trying to regulate businesses when all they do is deregulation. They hate regulation. Oh my God, you're trying to regulate. You're trying to tell business what to do. The hypocrisy continues, right? Because apparently they hate regulations. And I love how we're complaining about, this is part of the last thing. We're complaining about Twitter, but we're not complaining about, they're banning, but no one's complaining about God. Our people don't have health care. And I love how it's like, oh my God, you have the right to free speech on Twitter, but not the right to healthcare or housing or jobs or good infrastructure or free education or student debt forgiveness or ending the wars. You don't have that right, but you have the right to free speech on Twitter. God, our system is so messed up. And it's comedy gold for every other nation.